Greetings viewers! Today we're doing an unboxing of the Ignis Rainbow Contact Staff. I was lucky enough for them to send me one so I can test it out and let you guys know how it is. First thing that I'll note before even opening it is that the whole thing is incredibly light, like even with the box. So I am incredibly excited to see how the brand new carbon fibre model is going to shape up compared to the much heavier aluminium model. Right, so let's get to it. I'm only joking, we should only have a tiny little blade, we don't make any scratches. So the first thing I'll note is that the box is well packaged. Oh, it's really skinny. Oh, the satisfying moments of opening protection. Slide this down. Oh, first impression is it's beautiful. It's very well made. Well, very aesthetic. That looks like the EPDM. Ooh, so there's the soft squidgy EPDM. I've used this a lot. I've literally used hundreds of meters of this stuff. I absolutely love it. So first impressions, great job on the grip tape. I know that they were using a racket tape before. In the video that Aileen Lawler made, there was like a racket tape and it kind of lost points for not having a decent tape. But this EPDM is much nicer, I guess, than racket tape. The only thing that I will say with EPDM, especially this one, is quite soft, and then it can chip if you drop it on edges like tables or ledges or bricks, or it happens and then it chips, it splits the grip and then it starts flapping, but that is just wear and tear on your staff. Don't drop your stick on corners. I love EPDM. It was my favourite grip for literally years. I don't really care about the black hand. You use it and it kind of makes your hands a bit black, but I noticed that was worse on heavier sticks. This thing is insanely light. I don't know how I can explain to you how light it is. Oh, okay, so you hear that? That rattling is only in this model. Since then they have fixed it. The wiring that's on the inside of the staff was like freely able to move. Since then they have mounted foam inserts that secure all the wiring in place so there won't be any movement. And I built a few LED staffs before with very similar design, and the thing that went wrong in the ones that I made was the flex in the wire constantly would snap on the solder joint. So it's great that the inside is now like secure and there's no moving pieces whatsoever. Oh wow, this thing is great. There is one 18650 battery, I believe. So the battery's in the middle. There is a 1300 milliamp battery in the middle. The whole thing runs off 5 volts. Now this is a big deal, people. Worst thing about these kind of LED strip staffs is that you'll be at a festival or a party or whatnot and it dies and you need a chunky ass charger to charge it. 240 volts, you know, like a wall plug, or if you're in America, 110 volts. So this has somewhere super clean charge slot, which I can't seem to find. It is right in the tip of the staff. Hey, would you look at that? This squidgy cap is going to be great at providing protection for this. Oh, it is really thick. It is a solid centimetre of dense rubber right here before the layer of the electronics. So I would be very, very confident in terms of its durability. I've made staffs very similar to this kind of setup, and the ones that I made lasted years of pretty intense abuse, and they were 3 times as heavy as this. So this is going to have a lot less impact when it hits the ground, and I just imagine it's incredibly durable. Just from my experience of using props and making props and whatnot, I would confidently say that this is crazy durable. But still, even though it's going to be incredibly durable, I wouldn't use this as your daily driver. I would only get this out when you're playing with LEDs. I mean, small minor gripes is that the center point's really wide. I personally like super skinny center points, but that's just a personal thing. Nice little sticker on the edge, flowers which look handmade flowers, which is a very nice touch. The switch is on the body of the staff right here. It's just enough out of the way that you shouldn't be able to turn it on by accident. Yeah, good job. It's almost recessed in between two wraps of LED strips. So here we go, let's turn this bad boy on. Pow! Oh, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. Oh, absolutely stunning. Oh, I wish I could just spin it in here for you guys, but alas, I have a TV behind me. Oh. Okay, so it's somewhat strobing, so that means the brightness is down a bit. So let's find that remote and see what we got. So we have the staff, and we have a little packet with some bits and bobs inside. I'm gonna open this, see what's what. So the first thing to note is there is a USB charger. Big deal. We'll get back to that in a second. A nice little business card with information on there. I'm sure that will come in handy if you need repairs or whatnot. Oh, stickers! Don't you just love stickers? Probably put that on my electric unicycle. Enabling smoking or lighting candles. I'm a candle person myself. In Europe and America you get a wall plug, but because I'm in the UK they've just sent this nice braided USB cable. That's right people, USB. There is also a thank you note. Hey, awesome. So here is the much awaited remote. Now some of you might recognise this. I don't know if any of you are like myself, but I quite frankly have boxes and boxes and boxes of remotes. Just from making LED installations and whatnot. Like here's just a handful. It's ridiculous. So hopefully this might work with the other remotes. Right, let's turn this guy back on. Boosh! And see what we've got here. Might just lower my table. So they have crisscrossed the signals on the LED strip. So when I press red, the tip's red and the inside is green. So I believe they're calling this asymmetric colour. So that is green, that is the purple button, that is the yellow button, teal and pink. So it's great that you have these the colours just good to go on the remote, and then demo is going to cycle through all the modes, I believe. Yeah. So it's on block colour, off, block colour. So I'm guessing this is strobe. So if we speed it up, would you look at that? My ambient lighting is turning on and off with this remote. So that's something to bear in mind, guys. If you have, so my lighting for my plants is turning on, is being controlled with the same remote, which is interesting because these are pixel strips. These are not pixel strips, they are block colours, just so we're on the same page here. So I've turned the speed up all the way. This is mode 1 on the demo, which is strobe, strobe, strobe. So if I remember right, if it's the same as all the remotes I've used before, so demo and then up, this will be mode 1 and it should stay on this, which is blinky, blinky, flashy, flashy. Mode up again, it's a strobe, colour strobe, flashy, flashy. Mode 4, strobe, 5, strobe, 6, strobe, so this is strobing through all 7 colours I'm assuming. We all love a good rainbow fade. It's probably my favourite mode. I'm going to turn the speed down just because it's a bit fast for me. Nice slow rainbow fade. So one thing to note is you cannot adjust the brightness when it is in a mode. You can only adjust the brightness when it's in a single colour. As it spins it leaves a slight strobe in the air, which is actually beautiful. And obviously as it creates the other colours that are not RGB, it's a mixture of the two colours. So as you spin it, you actually see, I don't know if you can pick it up on camera, but you actually see a blend of the individual RGBs in here split next to each other. So even though when it's stationary it looks teal, for example, as you spin it you see a mixture of green and blue, which is really, really nice. It gives a lot of texture to a single colour, if that makes sense. Right, let's keep going. Mode up, it's another type of rainbow fade. And this is dim to bright to dim to bright, which actually I've used this mode in like a party context and it's actually really nice. So to reduce the brightness, what it does is it just increases the strobe, and in motion you get a spread of strobes across the staff and it gives a really nice effect. This you know, low brightness to max brightness through colour fade is actually Really nice at like parties or where there's low light and you don't want to like blind people. Right, what's next? Believe it'll be the same. Again, it's low brightness to bright. Next mode, next mode. So this is single color on off, which if you turn the speed down looks really nice in a low light environment. So these block of modes, it's solid color but dim to bright, whereas before every time it did a dim to bright cycle it changed color. Right, and we're back on strobe. So turn the speed up. So I'm not so much a fan of this, but could work in a context. In motion it looks great. I prefer more solid colours. I don't like, there's personal preference. I prefer slow fades. Back with the strobes. So I'm guessing that's just a rainbow fade and that's RGB cycle. And this is colour cycle, 7 colour cycle. So I believe that's all of the modes covered. I'm not 100% sure how many they are, but there is enough to go around. My favourite is either block colour, and if you turn the brightness down a tiny bit on the block colour as it spins, you get a strobe in the air, which is stunning. If I press demo, it's going to take us through the demo, but if I press up, this is the mode 1. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So demo up 10 takes you to rainbow fade, and what about down? Demo down by 1, which is the last mode. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10, either up or down, is rainbow fade. And if we go down one more, that should be the other type of rainbow fade. And then the single block strobes. So my personal favourite modes will be the rainbow fade, there's 2 versions of them, or the single colour modes. If you press any single colour and then press the colour button, you can cycle through the colour wheel and get a few more colours that are outside of the presets on the remote. Cool, I'm just going to experiment and see if one of my other remotes works. So I just happen to have another remote which is for some generic pixel controllers and also works, so that is good to know. Yeah, the menu buttons work as well. So if you have a generic radio frequency remote and you lose yours, they are super easy to replace and you potentially have one lying around. But yes, right. So it's worth noting that the modes can't adjust brightness, they are max brightness. Some of the modes cycle through dim to bright, but that doesn't really count. The actual brightness button only works on single colour mode. So if I put pink or teal, for example, then I can reduce the, that's the brightness, I can reduce the brightness. As you reduce the brightness, it makes a strobe, which is beautiful, I love it. One of my favourite modes is the teal, teal and purple, or purple and teal, or cyan. It's such a good colour combination, it's what I've got in my lights in my room, I absolutely adore it. So, in terms of the way that it spins, I mean, it feels like a dream. I can't believe how light it is. It is just as light, if not lighter, than my carbon fibre practice staff, which I find shocking, quite frankly. I think the balls I have are a lot heavier than this. But there is no flex whatsoever, absolutely none. But in terms of its feel, I mean, it is quite light. I can change the momentum really easily like this, which is kind of not what you want. From its first impression, this would make an absolutely luscious spinning staff, like absolutely amazing spin style. If you're like me and you like to fuse spinning with contact, this will probably be right up your street. I have a feeling I'm going to absolutely love this staff. Do some drills by the TV. I think it's a bit light for contact. If you are like me and you like spin contact style fusion, yes, this is going to be great for you. I personally might be adding some weight to the end. They are marketing this as a contact staff, but I am not used to flowers. The flowers add a lot of drag, but they also add some stickiness and some momentum. I'm having to exaggerate on my movements than I would a typical contact staff. If it was, as it's marketed as a contact staff, I would expect a little bit more momentum. The the stickiness seems to be coming purely from the flowers, not end weight momentum. Remember, the battery's in the middle, but it is only tiny, so at the moment, feeling it the way it is now, and this cheeky little spin, I think it's great. Honestly, the improvements that I would want on this are minuscule, like a bit of extra weight on the end. I mean, that kind of is weight distribution is quite a big deal for contact staff, but at the end of the day, like, you can contact a broomstick with no end weights. I mean, look at the baton twirlers, they're ridiculous. So it would be nice if there was a tiny bit of extra weight here, but it is not a deal breaker whatsoever. And if anything, it's great because you could mod it in your own way. Like, you could stack up some layers of tape just at the end, or put a shrink wrap like they have here over the end, which would give the same level of diffusion. I mean, I personally would prefer to take the flowers off, but it is great that it comes with, so you have the option to have them on or off. But ultimately, I am incredibly impressed. You should all go and buy one of these. But just remember, things to note, it's not programmable, you can't upload your own modes, it is programmed by the remote. So these guys are doing a great job, very, very great job. Underrated company. Everything that I've seen from them has been really good, really well made. I'm so happy that they took my advice, or that I mentioned on the contact staff page, that they should make a carbon fibre version of this staff, and they have, and it is absolutely amazing. 100% love it. The aluminium one is great, but it's just a bit too heavy for my liking. This is spot on, absolute spot on. The grip tape's great. If you want to change it, you can. The flowers are great. If you want to take them off, you can. For me, the end weight is a tiny bit lacking, because it is not like great for contact staff. I would say you'd want to be somewhat more of a comfortable user, because it is so light and there is not that much end weight. I would say yes, it would be good for beginners, but maybe you would want to put some extra weight on the end. But me personally, I want to go and spin this and give it a little whirl and see what it's like. Full disclosure, Ignis did send me this beautiful staff so I could test it, make this video with an unbiased review, so this is just my genuine opinion. It's great, it's great. I'll do a follow-up video and a full-on review once it's had a bit more abuse. But for now, I'd like to say a big thanks to Ignis for sending me this staff, and I'll put the link for this thing in the description as well. But for now, like, follow, subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll see you on the flip side. Stay tuned for some contact staff tutorials and some more flow videos featuring gear like this.